Live from Tampa, Florida, and New York City, out of the blue corner.
I'm a physician certified by YouTube, so you can trust here.
And out of the red corner.
I'm trying to transition from casual to hardcore. I've been in the body of a casual for way too long.
Congratulations! Of UFC.
What's up, everybody? We're coming to you live, straight from rehab,
Straight from
from
What the
MMA
fuck?
rehab.
MMA
Dr.
rehab?
Jared Vasquez and Alejandro de la Sen are your podcasters for today to talk about UFC 290, the event that is on everybody's mind right now.
Oh yeah.
So let's talk about it. Volkanovski versus Yair. What are the notable fights are on your mind, my dear colleague and trunk?
Sorry, Jared, I'm losing you for a second. Come again. Had a little.
What other fights of this fight card are on your mind right now?
What are the fights? What fight isn't on my mind from this card, Jared? Because this freaking card is completely stacked. I mean, I guess for the sake of time, not to bore people too much for 3 hours talking smack about fighters and fights, I guess we should focus on the main event. But damn, it's stacked all the way down from the prelims. Even the early prelims with some newcomers are awesome. I'm pretty excited to see Ravemovic, the Argentinian that was fighting pretty well and lost his debut earlier this year, sorry. And but yeah, I mean, we have everything and above. We have youngsters, we have veterans duking it out. We have two championship belt events.
Mhm.
It's like a dream card, really. Yeah, I wish every single card, at least the numbered ones, would be like this, with no fodder. It's all meat. It's all ribeye, all filet mignon.
Oh, steak,
So
100%.
yeah, so it's really like, do you want to pick it up from the down up, or do you want to talk about briefly
from the very bottom? But let's talk about. I want to talk about the situation
breaking
with
news?
Jack de la Madalena. Yeah,
Okay.
Jack de
So
la
then you want to.
Madalena was gonna fight in it. Who was the initial fighter for Jack?
Sean Brady, bro. Sean Brady.
Sean Brady. So it was.
That was finally the baptism, the christening of Jack Della into the top 10. And Sean Brady had to pull out for some undisclosed injury,
reasons. Mm-hmm.
No, injury. It was injury. I think it was
shoulder.
Like the shoulder.
I think it was a shoulder injury. Yeah,
I think so too. But yeah, and then this lovely fella, hamster muscle came in, or muscle hamster came in. Josiah Harrell, who really stepped in, debuted in the UFC against a grinding machine like Jack Della Madalena, who's been smashing everybody in the welterweight division up to now, really, that he is ranked number 14 and was going to fight against a top 10 contender like Sean Brady, who was, eager and ready to fight after losing against Belal Muhammad, and in desperate need of a victory, really, to keep it up. And we are being, privy to the fight. Like we won't be able to watch that fight because Sean Brady dropped. And let's see what this Josiah Harrell brings us. I mean, it's always a pleasure for you more than others to see JDM inside the Octagon, but we definitely wanted to see him with a really solid ranked fighter instead of a newcomer that we don't know much about. I mean, I don't know. Have you been watching tape of the muscle hamster Harrell?
No. I have. Nobody has tape on him.
I'm sure. Despacito, Jared. Whoa. A maximum respect. First of all, shut the fuck up.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
Maximum respect to Josiah Harrell. Josiah Harrell, your balls. Our
hamster,
heart goes up to you.
Our massive.
To muscle hamster. To go just stepped into the octagon with this freaking animal of Jack Della, top prospect. pretty loved by the organization, Dana White in particular. And just on a week notice, maybe 10
On a
days
week
notice.
notice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
guy's there
and
to make it
I
happen.
got news. I got news as well.
I know, Yared. I
Bo,
thought you were gonna say that at first,
Bo
but okay,
Nickel,
hit it.
Bo Nickel, his opponent pulled out as well yesterday,
Yeah.
and I got the phone call
Oh damn.
from the owner of the promotion. Oh, hold on. From
Guys, hold on.
one of the direct guys of the promotion that. So he got.
Guys. This is some barbaric tongue. Let me see. Oh shit. Wow, he got the call last night. Ooh. So you actually, what you're trying to say, Jared, showing us the message in Spanish to our non-Spanish speaking audience, is that wow. Whoa. So what you're saying is that you having the scoop, having the inside information, got a message. Yeah, no. Se ve, you can see clearly. You got a message from the promoter, the manager of the fighter that will be fighting, that will be facing on
He's the
Saturday.
champion, the combat night champion for that weight class.
Oh,
He's the combat night champion for that weight
damn.
class. He's
And they are fitting him to the lions a little bit though, Jared. Like I love your inside contact. I love you. I love the guy too. But shots. I mean, it looks like a pretty scary Jamaican, no? What do we know about him? Looks like a brawler, heavy-handed. Oh damn. Okay, so he's not. He's been around the block, eh?
He's been around the block. He's a wrestler and a heavy hitter. A heavy hitter. He a solid boxer. I've seen him in action a couple different times, and it's
Val Woodman is his name. Okay, wow. Look at Val. I mean, he's pretty jacked. Well,
he's a pretty jacked dude.
It's a middleweight. Let's pull up the stats here real quick.
Look who he trains with.
Let's see what dog.
Do you know that guy that he's training with there?
It's a little blurry. Yeah. Who is it? It's Diacatis? No, who is it?
No, it's God, what's his name? Action man.
Devin Clark? Devin Clark?
No. Chris Curtis.
Chris Curtis. Okay,
Chris Curtis.
Like it,
and Sean
Strickland. He was in the he was on the corner of Strickland on Saturday.
So he trains with Strickland and Chris Curtis. So he has a solid base. I mean, Bo Nickel is a superhero in wrestling, but that's MMA. So he took the fight in 1 day notice. No, 3 days notice. Dude. He's making weight right now, and I think an Angel from Combat Night and Mitch Shamale are traveling to corner him too. So we'll see my boys in there doing their work, which is cool. I mean, you have to have nuts in like massive
anything really
to step up to Bo Nickel like that. I mean, and there's space in that specific weight class for more fighters so I think this was a great thing for his career if he manages to give him a good fight and not be injured. Sky's the limit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, looking a little bit deeper into his info and stats, the guy's undefeated as a pro, 7 wins, 0 losses. He's not even 30 years of age. He's 29. He's a solid muscle mass. It's like a mass of muscle, better said. He's a 5'8" guy with 185 pounds on the scale, hopefully by Thursday. And wow. It looks like he can KO. Whoa, he has 1, 2, 3, 4. He has 5 KOs. His last 2 fights went down into a decision, unanimous for him. So it looks like, I mean, a solid prospect, right? I just do we know anything else yet? Do we know anything else about how he came up? Oh shit, there she is. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for supporting us. Do we know Happy
1,
birthday,
2,
America. Oh
3.
shit.
America. Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Lo
Yare.
fallaste. Lo fallaste, tronco.
Lo fallé porque no sabía dónde. I didn't know where you were going. But that's true, bro. Happy 4th of July to everyone who might or might not be listening. You know, whether they're in America or in any other country where you speak English, whether they speak English there or not. I guess
feel
happy
American.
4th of July. And whomever feels American, happy.
If you identify with being American, congrats.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Hey,
Congrats on Nate. Enjoy as much as you can.
Validated.
Enjoy as much as you can.
Validated.
Yeah, no, that
Yes.
you gotta validate it. You gotta validate that.
Perfect. I feel heard and I feel seen. So thank you.
Oh wow, that's I perceive a slight undertone in your words. Anything you want to tell us? Is that that's
no. So moving along. Moving along.
Oh shit! Yeah, let's move along. Let's move along. What else?
We have
So
great
okay,
fights.
so do we know? Hold up. Do we know? And just to confirm or wrap it up on that end, do we know anything else about how the call came about? It was just they were
last
just
night.
Chilling.
Last night they were chilling.
That's how it goes.
Last
Sean
night,
Shelby said, "Sup."
Yep. They got the call from the UFC last night. I mean, and these guys,
Okay.
Mitch Chamale and Angel,
Yeah.
I mean, the Combat Night guys have put maybe 4 or 5 guys on the UFC already. So they're being
Trusted.
recognized as a feeder league and having high level guys fight there. So this is just another big step towards their success.
Well,
So I'm happy.
man.
I'm happy for them bringing one
Our
of the champs
hats
over there.
Of course, and then and it looks like Val Woodman. It's like that at least he's gonna present opposition. He's gonna present a fight against Bo Nickel.
If he can beat him, wow.
Well, imagine that would be quite an upset because Bo Nickel is being taunted at as the next big thing everywhere, and he looked great against Pickett. Well, he started a little iffy, right? Pickett knew what he had to do, keep him away as much as he could, and he tried, releasing those legs and giving him, out of reach for a good while. But at the end of the day, the young prospect Nickel was too much for him. So we'll see. You say this guy Valentin, the animal, Valentin, the animal Whitman. Is he? You said that he's a wrestler as well.
Yeah, he has good wrestling.
As far as you know,
I don't believe he's a wrestler by trade, but I've seen him fight. I see great ground defense. Although ground defense against he's not an amateur guy. He's a pro fighter. So against Florida Pro Fight League, his peers are very, very high level.
right?
But striking wise, he has some bombs. He has some heavy hands. So that could be all he needs. All he needs is one.
Yeah.
It's
at the moment. Yeah, at the moment, according to Topology, Mr. Woodburn is number 22 in the U.S. as a pro middleweight. Number 2 in Florida as a pro middleweight. He's also ranked as a light heavyweight, so it's a thick boy. Thick boy. So
he's big.
I mean, again, he has mostly chaos, as we said. So I guess his wrestling. Here's what the key is gonna be: can he defend a takedown? Can he, stuff it and come back with a banger?
Yeah.
Because if he does that, he may have a shot.
Yeah, he just needs to land one solid shot. And that could change, his life and his career forever. One solid shot, one highlight reel knockout away. Those are the storylines that I live for. If you're coming from the bleachers, you're coming from being in your home in Florida, getting ready to eat some barbecue. You're probably marinating the meats for the next day, and then you get a call from Sean Shelby like, "Hey, we need you to fight Bo Nickel Saturday UFC 290, the biggest event of the year, International Fight Week in Vegas. We need you to come down and be on the main card." What the fuck? What is this? So you have a chance to jump from your home to the top fight week of the year. Yeah. It's crazy. If he makes it happen, he is a huge star.
It would be so awesome.
And I mean, and these guys, I've seen how they train. I've seen how they fight. I've seen all that stuff. So they deserve it. So let's see what happens, man. I like Dana White. I'm gonna do a Dana White and say, let's see what happens.
Así como hacer, como hacer como bulldog. That's what happened. That's what happened. Anyway, so great to know that dreams still come true. That
Yeah,
there's
in
still
America.
Cinderella stories. You know, it's a bit of an American dream coming true.
Yeah.
Valentine hailing all the way from Apopka, Florida, and he'll be facing the Wonder Kid of Rifle, because that's where freaking Bo Nickel is from, Rifle, Colorado. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, let's do a true out of the ass prediction here, not knowing anything about Woodman. What do you think, Jared? Wow, venga.
I mean,
Prediction.
I gotta go with my Florida boy. I gotta go with the Florida boy landing a haymaker. More likely that's not gonna happen, but that's gonna be my prediction, just so we have that clip. And if I get it right, it's gonna be sweet. So my prediction is Val by KO on the first round.
On the first round, fuck it.
Yeah.
Let's go big.
Yeah,
Go
why
hard,
not? Why
home.
not?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Why not?
Okay, well,
Eu no soy una mulher. You froze on me, bro. See, this is what happened with New York City internet. It sucks. What's going on? This guy froze. All right. So until he comes back. Look, and he froze with a silly face. Take a look at his face. That's bad. That's bad internet. So let's
oh shit. What happened?
What happened? What happened? The internet's not going good?
Is it my internet or your internet?
No, mine is good.
I don't know, it dropped. I thought you clicked on something. Anyway, doesn't matter.
No.
Okay, just so you know, to whomever is listening to us here at the moment, we are.
You froze like this.
We're having some issues with the internet here in New York City. I want to take the stand to say, screw you, Time Warner Cable. Sorry, screw you, Spectrum. And that being said, I think that is gonna go the 3 rounds. I think it's gonna be controversial because there's gonna be a decision, and because Bo Nickel is loved by everyone in the UFC, and they want to push him up to be in 1-2 year tops, the contender for the belt. He is going to be given the win, but it's gonna be controversial. That's what I'm gonna say. That's my prediction, completely out of my butt cheeks. And we'll see what happens.
We call it a butt cheek prediction. It's all good, baby.
Butt cheek prediction, inside prediction. Anyway, moving forward though, yeah, with fights we actually know a couple of things about.
Let's talk about Jasmine Jauregui coming out.
Oh damn! Okay,
a couple of years ago. A couple of years back from Combate Global, being a savage, dominating a three-fight tournament in the same day. One of the only times that we have seen on live TV, same day tournament for the best female fighter over there in Combate Global, and she dominated 3 fights, fought 3 times, finished 3 times. So I knew that she was going to be a beast. When she came over to the UFC, had not had a tremendous battle with Yasmin Lucindo on her first fight, then won easily against Nunez on her second fight, and she was given a Denise D. Gomez, who's a great fighter and 115 pounds as well, orthodox, but she's nowhere near the quality of Jasmine Jauregui. The stats show it. She has absolutely no chance. This is the most uneven fight on the fight card. Jasmine is an absolute beast. She has a 100% takedown defense. She puts out almost 7 strikes per minute on all her fights, and they're not counting the Combate Global fights for these stats. I want you to know. So this is only for her last two fights. Um, so it's this is a highlight. What I call. Are you there? Or are you stuck? Or are you an internet cut out? I'm guessing
Well,
that
I'm
the
I'm
internet.
I'm here. Yeah, I don't know. My
Ah,
fucking
okay.
internet is acting up like big time, isn't it?
No, it's you're with your eyes closed like Jose Feliciano. So
Shit. Feliz Navidad. Damn.
God. There you go. There you go.
All right, there you go.
All right. So we have Yasmin Jauregui. She's gonna absolutely dominate this girl, Denise. Her striking accuracy, and that's just the UFC fights. I want you to know that the stats that they have up in their website are only the UFC fights. The Combate Global stats would be off the charts if they would be in here, but of course they're not going to include it. Um, she's going to absolutely dominate. This is what I call a highlight fight. She's being showcased. She had a tough fight at the beginning. She proved herself. She had a mid fight who dominated as well. But this one is supposed to produce a highlight reel end because that's how the UFC works. They're trying to
Hmm.
build up her highlight reel with solid competition, but she's not up to par. Just Jasmine Jauregui is, I believe, top 10 caliber, and she's just gonna mow through girls until she's knocking the door downs of the top 10 in her weight division, which is 115 pounds. Stronch, what are
Yep.
your thoughts on this?
My thoughts are that definitely they are feeding her Brazilians like it's nobody's business.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we saw her suffer a little bit with the other Yasmin until she found her flow, she definitely won on that one. And to that Nunes lady, she reconstructed her face with that TKO. So it's definitely it's gonna be definitely a long night for Denise Gomez, D Gomez. I don't see how Dennis Gomez wins this fight. Jasmine Jauregui is being propped and is being it's just Mexico is on fashion. It's a
Mm-hmm.
trendy thing right now in the world of mixed martial arts. She's in a card stacked with other two Mexican
Mm-hmm.
wonderful fighters, champions, both of them. And
Mm-hmm.
I agree 100% with you. I think this is a highlight real esque fight for Jasmine Jauregui, and I think she's going to defeat Gomez. Um, I don't know if Gomez will be able to. I mean, I don't know if she'll be able to knock her out, but I definitely think she takes it. Probably unanimous decision, minimum. Could be a knockout, but we'll see what happens. Regardless, I'm with you, Jasmine Jauregui, 100%.
Exactly. Exactly. So let's keep it frosty. Let's talk about Robbie Lawler versus Nico Price.
All
A
right.
fight
Okay, so we're doing prelims. That's
classic,
good. What a fucking classic, yeah. What a
classic fight.
this is for the good old veterans, eh? Yeah, this one's for you, yeah. I hope you
Yeah,
feel it in your chest. Do you feel it in
I
your
feel
chest?
it. I feel it, bro.
This
I
is
feel
for
it
you.
deep in my
This is for you.
chest.
That's right, Jared. When you were there in 2010, you were there hot at it,
Yeah.
wearing those affliction t-shirts. You know, lots of skulls. Okay, lots of medieval weapons. That was
Fleur de
you
lis.
right
A lot
there.
of fleur de lis
A lot of
symbols.
fleur de lis. Le fleur de lis is very important.
Fleur de lis.
That's
Yeah.
for you guys. That's for you. And
Yeah.
what a banger this is gonna be, eh? Two fighters that have been through everything and anything, coming off of losses, both of them. Both of
Mm-hmm.
them, edging the late 30s like a motherfucker. How do you see this fight, Jared? How do you see these two
These,
dogs at this point of their career? To be honest,
yeah, it's Robbie Lawler is
he's a
the god of
savage.
war, the god of war. I mean, when he was the champion at the
Oof.
170-pound division, um, it was one of the funnest eras. He had great fights against let me see,
Everybody.
Carlos
Which one do you
Condit.
want to have? His
No, that
yeah,
he had a
Rory
five
McDonald was
a
a
five
wonderful. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
he had a 5 fight win streak that consisted of Jake Ellenberger, Matt Brown, Johnny Hendricks, Rory McDonald, and Carlos Condit, and he
Mm-hmm.
was the champ for all those fights. He held the belt for 4 consecutive fights. Hold on.
Madre mía.
He held the belt for 4 consecutive for 4 consecutive fights. So he was a champion for all the way 2014 to 2016. So he held the belt for 2 years, the
Yep.
170-pound belt, and gave us tremendous fights that were funny, that were fun, kind of funny and aggressive. He never backed down of a fight, and that fight was inducted in the Hall of Fame, in the UFC Hall of Fame. The Rory McDonald versus Robbie Lawler
Yep. That's how
is
you
in
know
the.
about it.
And that fight was
What a war.
amazing.
Yeah.
So when I see
Shit.
this fight going down, these two guys, they're not title contenders. We all know it. We all know where they stand. They have, Nico Price has, what, almost 21 fights. He has 21 fights.
She does have total of
Um,
23 according
23.
here to
Oh,
the
Jesus
to the
Christ.
record. Yeah,
He
and
has two
he's
no
lost.
contests too.
Yeah, I know. Shit. He's like
And
a story that a story of that
Robbie
guy
has
that could have been but never was,
46 fights, Robbie Lawler.
Damn.
It's, oh my God. He's
He wants to have a Hondo, yeah.
he's been
That's what he
fighting
wants.
for a while. He's
I
been
didn't
fighting
want to
for a
interrupt
while.
you. Exactly. I didn't want to interrupt you, but that's what I wanted. Like he was already there fighting for the championship with Jacare Souza in Strikeforce. Yeah, he debuted in the UFC after the purchase of the Strikeforce, I'm assuming, on February 23rd, 2013. So alone in the UFC, he's been for over a decade fighting this guy. Not to mention that he debuted. Technically, his debut was in 2001, which means he's been fighting professionally, mixed martial arts, for 22 years. Like,
Yeah.
what can you say to this guy? Like, just tip your hat. That's all you can do against a savage like Robbie mother effing Lawler.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Ruthless is
He's
just
been
one of
fighting.
those guys. Mhm.
He's been fighting since the UFC was in 2 digits. He's been fighting since UFC 37 in 2002.
Damn.
That lets you know. 2002, I
Damn.
was about to start. That fight card happened, and I was about to
Oh,
start
damn.
med school. I
Get
hadn't
it.
started med school yet. I was an undergrad student, getting ready,
Shit.
getting mentally prepared to
Get it.
transplant myself to another country and start studying medicine. So Robbie
I was a
Lawler has
minor.
been there for a while.
Yeah, and I
How
fucked
how
that
old
up.
were you in
Sorry, guys.
2002?
I was 16, bro. And
Still a virgin.
kicking and still a virgin. That is correct. Yeah, thanks for sharing my private business here in front of everyone. That is correct. We are honest. We are straight up here. Yes.
There's no shame. There's no. There's
I mean,
absolutely no
back then it was a
shame,
little bit
bro.
like, okay, it's what it is. It's what it is. It's what it is.
Yeah,
I was
you
waiting for
made
the
up
right
for
one.
it. You
Okay,
made up for it, bro.
true
You done very
true love
good.
waits. Okay, true love
Exactly.
waits. Okay,
Hey, does it now?
but yeah, no. I'm sorry, I messed it up. I was scrolling down the records, and I saw on 2013 UFC 157, and then I saw Strike for Bouts, and I didn't scroll down. But and I messed that up because he fought in the UFC for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fights, only to abandon for 9 years the promotion, go to Japan and everywhere else in the US for 9 years. Super Brawl, Icon Sports, Pride, IFL, Elite XC, Strike Force, only to return to the UFC 9 years later. Yeah. How crazy is that? That's a career. That's what I call a
Fun
career.
fact. He only had 2 amateur fights.
Yeah, damn.
He only had 2 amateur fights, so he started fighting in 2001.
Shit. Anyway, if what comes to the fight on Saturday, Yared, how do you see this fight? Do you see Robbie Lawler ending the fight standing? Do you really do?
Yeah, Robbie Lawler has good takedown defense, if anything. His reflexes are a little bit slower, but as we saw when he fought Nick Diaz, he's still lethal on his feet. He can crack. He still has power. That's one of the last things that leaves athletes, combat athletes. Power leaves it last. So he still has power. I believe he can catch Nico Price. Nico Price
You
long
think?
reach, long reach.
Hmm.
He's a pterodactyl. He has massive reach. 2 inches more of reach than Robbie Lawler. He could damage Robbie with jabs, but to finish Robbie with strikes, you have to be able to put consecutive strikes together. I think Nico can hurt him. I just don't know if he can put the amount of strikes together that are necessary to finish Robbie Lawler. So I think Robbie makes it gritty, makes it fun. They were both bloody at the end, and maybe Robbie ends it at the third round. He has and this you're probably going to come back to this clip and see it again because it's going to be beautiful. He has a beautiful third round. So his first round, second round are great. Third round, he gets super aggressive. So I think he's going to go vintage Robbie Lawler, finish Nico Price in the third round, scream at the top of his lungs, take off his gloves, put him in the center of the octagon and retire.
Wow, that's what I call a
Yeah.
prediction. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
you
sorry,
got
my
it.
friend. I am sorry, but I'm gonna
Ah.
disagree. I saw Robbie Lawler against Brian Barberena in really not so good of a shape. I saw
Mm-hmm.
the passing of time really hitting him hard. Brian Barberena is definitely, I mean, of course, a brawler, a guy capable of knocking anyone out, but not the most skillful striker, and still put it on him. He took everything Robbie had and then came back in the second and finished him, TKO'd him precisely with punches. And I think Nico Price should have what it takes to really damage Robbie Lawler. Because the problem here is that I think Robbie Lawler has reached that point where his chin is really not as it used to be all that there, you know.
Mm.
So anything can happen. These are two guys who like to bang it out, who like to put everything in their punches, in their strikes. But if I had to choose, I choose your paisano, hailing from Cape Coral, Florida, Nico Price. By
Mm-hmm.
the way, Nico Price is only 33 at it. I
Yeah,
thought he
he's
was
young.
like shit. Well lift. At
He's
33.
he's young. He's young, but I mean,
I know.
he's put some miles on that body.
Yes. Yeah. He
I seen
debuted.
it. I've seen him live. Met him, and he's not that I mean, he's about maybe an inch taller than me. Maybe
Mm,
it looks fit, but I think it's gonna be a banger. So it's good.
mhm.
It's a good fight for both of them. I think
That's
win or
right.
lose, both of them they make it look good, and they get fight of the night bonus hopefully. And
Hopefully. Yes.
the
All to them.
but
All to them.
Robbie needs to win it so he can retire. I don't want to
Mm.
see him kind of stick around like Nick Diaz is
Well,
doing
that's the
and like
thing, right?
being held
If
back.
if he really if he all he was like searching after was a retirement fight, he had it with Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz looked real bad,
Mhm,
and Robbie Lawler looked great. I mean, I don't know if it's a
mhm.
consequence, but he did, and
Yeah.
he decided he still had a few more fights in him. You know, at 41 at the moment, yeah, he just turned 41 this month,
Mhm.
Robbie Lawler, and he's out there. You know, so um, fingers
Tough,
crossed
tough, tough. No,
things come out for the best. But
tough
I
decision.
mean, yeah, I personally think he'll fall short. But regardless of that, he's a gladiator. He is
Hmm.
a true champion. She should be a Hall of Fame inductee once it's done, and definitely one of the best fighters in the last couple of decades. So the grace to the great Robbie Ruthless Lawler. That
That's
being
right.
said, Jared, shall we go back to the main event, which you seem to start opening up to go back to the fucking prelims and throw a curveball to all of us, me included, my brother?
Yeah, let's go. What fight do you want to talk about now?
Well, I mean, we can only talk about the fight of those two longies, those two thinnies, those two uh lightweight prodigies. The Jalen Tarantula Turner against Dunn, the hanging hooker.
Hooker,
How do
man.
you see that bout?
Hooker has had a tough run. He's lost 3 of his last 5. He had a great
Yep.
win against Nakspar Hakparast, and
Perez.
he defeated Puelles as well.
But what a fight.
For
What a fight that
in
was.
a great fight. Jalen Turner, he's win 4 out of his last fight. Of course, he lost against Mateusz Gamrod, which is no,
Mhm.
I mean it's not a bad loss. You're losing against a great guy. on the division. Not a top 3 fighter, but most definitely a top
Well,
5 fighter in Mateus. So he's trying to reinvent himself and start building back up. So Dan Hooker's doing the same. Both of these guys are rebuilding their careers on the 155-pound division, which is super stacked. And this is going to be a great fight. A lot of length, like you said in the beginning, thinnies, longy thinnies. So I think the factor that I look at is damage. Damage. Who
okay.
has had more damage out of these two guys? The question. What's the answer to
Oh,
it, my friend?
that's not a rhetorical question? Hands down and 100%, freaking Dan Hooker. Get it? I mean,
Yeah,
to me, this fight is a no-brainer. But I'm gonna let you finish. Uh,
literally, no pun intended.
no pun intended, bro. That would be a shitty pun for me to do. But yeah, no pun intended. To me, this fight is pretty clear. Dan Hooker, I had the privilege of watching him
Mhm.
live here in New York last year, in the Adesanya Pereira 1 fight. And Dan Hooker, that fight, I wouldn't even
Mhm.
count it yet, because what a fight that was. Claudio Puelles looked like he wasn't, like, he didn't want to be in there. Remember, is that fight? You may not recall, but if I tell you, remember Claudio Puelles going down on the floor and trying to do like scissor locks from the ground,
Mhm.
waiting for him, like he would like drop himself, and freaking Dan Hooker to like got the best out of him, because Claudio Puelles did not show up, and then he ate a couple of kicks, and then it was over. After a body kick, Claudio Puelles just crumbled, and that was that. So that fight he looked well, but the problem is that the 2 previous fights he did not look that good. Get it? He fought against Makachev, obviously was submitted by Kimura really fucking quick, and then against Arnold Allen, going down to featherweight, he looked like out of gas, out of zing, out of pep, and he was TKO'd as well, in which clearly looked like a too grueling of a weight cut, because the guy wasn't there yet. He was like a shadow of himself. So this fight, then to top it off, the UFC is not interested in rebuilding this one or highlighting this one, because they give him freaking Jalen Turner, who was an upcomer that was like coming in hot, that got stopped by Mateus Granro. But before that, before losing against Mateus, she had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight wins, looking real good, TKOing people, submitting
Mhm.
people, and really showing that with that long ass frame. What is he? 6'2", 6'3"? 6'3", bro. 6'3", 155 pounds.
Super big,
Get it?
super
What
long.
the fuck? So you tell me how Dan Hooker, with a guy, when Dan Hooker is usually, really the tall guy in there. He's 6 feet. So he's been fighting in featherweight and then in lightweight currently. And how is he not having the clear advantage? In fact, having a clear disadvantage in the reach. How is he gonna be able to put it on Jalen Turner, a fighter that is younger, that is less damaged overall in his career, at least in the UFC, and a guy who is hungry for a fight after putting up a really good fight against Mateusz Gamrot, banging it out, having him against the fence, being against the fence against him, and defending it and keeping it happen. He ate like a couple of
Mhm.
knees that I don't fucking know how he survived. But at the end of the day, it was a split decision. So the guy, was not badly beaten by Gamrot, who is a top 5 at the moment. So how is Dan Hooker gonna win this fight? I don't fucking know. I think it's a very dangerous matchup for him. I think he's a disadvantage for this one. And I honestly, that Hooker looks like such a nice guy. So despite that little like Twitter brawl he created after Volkanovski lost, remember that he all
Mhm.
of a sudden
I remember.
became a chismoso, and started throwing
The Makachev gate.
shit. The Makachev gate all made up by him. No evidence, by the way, no evidence, and no further tweets after he, flamed it up. So, I mean, I if I have to predict something here, I definitely predict Jalen Turner puts it on him, lights him on fire. He may even finish him. And if he doesn't finish him, he puts on him a clear unanimous decision. To me, Jalen Turner will take it. Unanimous decision, at least potential TKO in the later rounds. That's
Yeah,
my
yeah.
prediction. I don't know how you see it, me Jared.
Yeah, I think I see it the same. Jailing, working the jab, working the teep kicks, keeping Dan
Teep
Hooker,
kicks. Oof.
keeping Dan Hooker at bay, and I see this going to a decision as well. So
Mm,
I gotta agree with you. On the rare occasion that we agree in a fight. So yeah,
correction.
Dan Hooker. I don't know. Maybe it's time for him to hang up the gloves. I don't know. He's
Yeah,
young,
but
but
he's only 33.
long
Yeah,
in
he's not
tooth.
that old. But yeah,
Long in the tooth for
sure.
155. The younger, the smaller the weight class, the younger the fighter has to be for reflexes. So then Hooker, I mean, he's long in the tooth for 155. That's the
I know.
problem. Same thing happened to Frankie Edgar. He kept going further and further down in weight classes, and it got worse and worse for him as he went down classes. So he learned a hard lesson. So Jalen Turner will win. So let's move on
There you go.
to our friend, the
Let's start.
African,
Let's start. Oof. Yeah. Oh
true
yeah. Oh yeah.
African, Dricos
Born and
Duplessis,
bred.
DDP, the only
DDP.
African fighter in the UFC, one of the only African fighters in the UFC against
Highlighted.
Robert, the Reaper, Whitaker,
Bobby Knuckles.
staple in the middleweight division, ex-champion.
Mhm.
And about to be the African Slayer because I think he's gonna put it on DDP.
I mean, Jared, this is definitely like I tip my hat to DDP. DDP is a warrior. He really like lives his soul in there.
Well,
He is, Jared. He's really like. I mean, did you see him in his last? Did you see him in his last fight? He was eating punches for like 2 rounds straight, and the guy still won. Ricus is a warrior. He can definitely eat punches. He can definitely take damage. Derek Brunson put it on him, and he still was able to TKO him. I think he's on the up and up. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight fights since he lost against Roberto Soldic, the Argentinian, in the Argentina. What am I saying? Fuck, I'm mixing it up. The Croatian, and he's actually undefeated in the UFC. Yeah, believe it or not. Diego Duplessis debuted in 2020, and he's won all his fights 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he is there by all rights, by all means. He definitely deserves that this fight against the ranked number 2 fighter,
Mhm.
Robert Whitaker. But when we put them, toe to toe, head to head, I mean, in terms of experience, in terms of volume, in terms of um, fluidity, ability, options, skills. I mean, I don't know what does Dricus Duplessis go over uh, Forrest Whitaker with, because I think he's inferior in almost every aspect of
Yeah.
the game. Maybe kicks, I don't know. But
No,
well, all I'm trying to say is that even though Dricus Duplessis is gonna put up a fight, he's gonna keep on coming forward and receiving damage. I don't see how Robert Whitaker doesn't smoke him up in this fight. To me, Robert Whitaker will show that he is number 2 for a reason. He will definitely light him up, and he will, you know,
finish.
leave us hungry for African and African all out fight in the. I like Diego Fernando, grande Diego Fernando. I think he is gonna uh, keep us out from watching an all African title fight. I'm talking about former Chinese champion Israel
Oh,
Adesanya versus Dricus Duplessis. They've been having an ongoing beef to see which one is more African. They both have their arguments, so we're not gonna partake unless you wanna. But the truth is that I think Robert Whitaker is gonna take it, no doubt. And I think Robert Whitaker he should be finishing Dricus Duplessis. To me, how do you see this fight? Yeah.
yeah. It's Dricus has had great fights. He's had 5 victories in a row. Look great finishing, but the reality is that he gets tired. After a round of fights, after the first round in all of his fights, he looks like he's just ran 2 marathons. Um,
The
he's
gas never
gritty.
got. Yeah.
He persists. He doesn't quit. He doesn't have quit in him, and he can he knows how to hold good positioning. and take advantage of his opponent's mistakes. The problem is Robert Whitaker makes very little mistakes, doesn't get tired, hits hard. That's all the three things that you need to know in this fight. He's not Dricus du Plessis doesn't have any route to victory in this fight. If Dricus wins, I'll eat my words 100%. But I'm telling you, these words are unedible because Dricus du Plessis doesn't have a route to victory here. Whitaker is the champion if Adesanya doesn't exist in this division.
That's fact.
So it's a matter. He's the second best guy, and I think Dricus is not up to par with the second
not at
best
that level,
guy,
yeah.
or even with the third best guy. Poatan
That's
gets in
right.
there with him. He puts him to sleep as well.
Come on,
You put him
come
in
on.
there with Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland will do the same thing that he did to Abus.
Most likely.
So it is what it is. He had a good run. He has his moment to shine here. He'll get a good payday, but there's absolutely no way Dricus DDP can win. So,
100%. That's what it
So,
is. Yep. Yes, sir. And then we enter the championship rounds.
Yes,
Not rounds,
sir.
but the championship fights. You get it? Here we go with the co-main and all out Brazil against Mexico. God damn it. Mexico. The third, Brandon Moreno versus Alexander Pantoja. How do you see this fight? I'm pretty pumped about.
Sí, Taylor,
How do you-
hay directo en español después de este, en 12 minutos. Vamos a estar
Así
en
es.
el canal Dr. Jared Blog con la previa, el directo en español, ¿sabes?
Exacto.
All right, so
No te
let's keep
vayas.
going
Allí te
let's keep
esperamos.
going.
Yes.
Let's keep
So I
going
was
in
saying,
English.
Jared, how do you see? Thank you, Jared. How do you see? This fight, Jared? How do you see this banger of a banger?
Yeah, I mean, it's a classic Brazil versus Mexico. Pantoja versus Moreno, the Assassin Baby versus the Cannibal. Both of these guys have almost the same amount of fights, same amount of experience. The reach is is larger in Brandon Moreno, and I would say
Right.
both orthodox guys. Volume is almost similar. Grappling, I would say that more takedowns maybe Brandon Moreno, but both of them are equal. The quality of the competition lately, you have to give it to Brandon Moreno. Figueiredo 4 times. Kai Kara France. Brandon has fought Kai Kara France, Jussier Formiga, Brandon Royval. He's fought, Ryan Benoit, Dustin Ortiz, he's fought everybody, and he's fought the hardest guy 4 times. He fought the hardest guy 4 times. Davison Figueiredo didn't. Pantoja didn't have to fight Davison Figueiredo.
Oh, he did.
Davison
And lost.
Figueiredo. And lost. There you have it. He fought and lost. So he couldn't do what Brandon Moreno did. He defeated Brandon Moreno early in Brandon Moreno's career. And I would fair to say even only once, because if you defeat him in the Ultimate Fighter tournament, it feels like he was an unformed fighter. He was a mature fighter. So I don't think so. You would say he defeated him twice, but legitly only once. So I would say that Brandon Moreno is far away from the fighter. He didn't have Entram Gym, Raul Entram as the head of his camps. His body has changed drastically. He sculpted his body in all his championship bouts. So he's fighting 5-round battles. For how many? For 5 or 6 fights, he fought 5 rounders. Pantoja is great. He's evolved as well. But I just think that Brandon just edges him a little bit, having that championship experience and that experience to be on the big lights. It's not the same thing fighting on the UFC to fighting under the big lights. You're fighting, it's different. The nerves are different. Everything that you do is different. So I think that Brandon is comfortable being in this role already. And it's going to be a 5-rounder.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see. We gotta see how Pantoja feels on that 4th and 5th round. That's what we need to. That's what we need to see. That's gonna be the factor. And I think Brandon edges him out, outboxes him a little bit. There's some moments in the floor where he maybe puts Brandon in uncomfortable positions, but I think he can deal with it. If he dealt with Davidson 4 times, I don't think Pantoja in his mind, he's saying, "Oh, I beat this guy. I'm the champion already." But when he faces the new Brandon, it's gonna be a different bag of chips.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough call, right? Because I don't really know. I mean, what Pantoja are we gonna find here? I think that's the first question I would do, because Pantoja was early on in his career, especially against Brandon, he was like a freaking. He was definitely showing skills on the feet like it was nobody's business. He in both fights outstruck Brandon, hurt, damaged badly Brandon, and showed that his striking was a couple of steps above the Mexican. But then, he went through ups and downs. He lost again Askarov in a weird freaking fight. He lost against Davison Figueiredo. And then, out of the blue, the last 2 fights, he's amped up his submission game to earn both wins via submission. So, I mean, I don't know, first off, what kind of Pantoja or what Pantoja's plan is going to be. Because Brandon is strong across the board in all those aspects. Brandon is really like almost impossible to catch. It all depends on, how is he feeling that night? Because we know Brandon, like, he suffered a little bit. He started a little bit slow. He ate a couple of strikes from Kara France in his fight, in his last fight. So he overcame, obviously. And not his last, his second to last. He overcame because then he messed up real good, Davison Figueiredo, with that eye, looking like the moon. But the thing is that Brandon, it's a master. It's a specialist in overcoming adversity, in overcoming difficulty, and he's probably got that pain inside of having lost twice against Pantoja, that regardless the fact that he lost the first one in the Ultimate Fighter. Also, in that performance he put against Pantoja in the second time around in Chile, that resulted in Brandon leaving the promotion for a minute. Remember when he was released? That happened after that fight, after the Alexandre Pantoja fight. He had to wait for over a year to return to the UFC. So Brandon probably wants revenge. Brandon knows he is improved way. I don't want to say way more, but he's improved a lot from the Brandon he was when he faced Pantoja back in 2018. He's the champion, so the belt factor that Terry Atlas and Jared Vasquez agree with might be there. He became probably a 20% better, as they say, after getting the belt from Davison Figueiredo. And to me, it's gonna be a war. I don't see this fight going the 5 rounds, to be honest, Jared. I think Brandon. Shit, is Brandon could get good. Like, Pantoja's jiu-jitsu is very good, but Brandon's jiu-jitsu is also fucking awesome. It's such a black belt on top of it. So, I don't know. Fuck it. I'm going with Brandon. I think Pantoja is going to put up a fight, but at the end of the day, Brandon is going to show that expertise. He's going to show that variety and that volume of strikes, and he's going to put it on Pantoja. I think he TKOs him later in the fight, maybe the 4th round, even close to the distance time. So to me, Brandon takes it, probably a TKO, if not a unanimous decision.
Yep. Yeah, but I think he goes to full 5 and Brandon wins a decision. So there you have, folks. Let's go on to the main event. The stake of the night. Alexander Volkanovski, the kingpin of the 145-pound division, went up a couple of months ago against against Islam Makhachev.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah for Hamdi Abdel Wahad. He
I'm so glad I froze like this.
He failed. That's so good.
My camera sucks tonight, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Let's start a GoFundMe for Alec.
For high speed internet for Ale. Thank you.
High speed internet for Ale, please. So Volkanovski tried to challenge himself with a fight in the 155-pound division against Makhachev. He was close to maybe having a finish in the 5th round. He looked great. He looked good. He didn't look that great, but he gritted in there. He made Makachev work more than Makachev thought he was going to work, and more than
Mhm.
anybody else thought Makachev had to work. So he gained the respect of Islam Makachev. He didn't capture the coveted champ status, but he didn't lose a single fan. He gained fans, I believe, and he's coming back down to try to unify the belt. Jair Rodriguez won that belt against Josh, against the you know the kicking bag, Josh Emmett, the punching bag, Josh Emmett. He
Fuck.
submitted. I mean, no disrespect, no. Josh Emmett, great fighter, but he
Great.
submitted Josh Emmett. He got the belt, not the real belt, but the interim belt. And
Thank you.
now Volkanovski wants to unify and be the champion again and reign over his division again. For me, Volkanovski, I mean, like I said when I uploaded my breakdown, I said Volkanovski is a jack of all trades, a master of none, but a jack of all of the trades inside the cage. One of them being fitness and durability. That's a
Mhm.
key word that I didn't mention in my video. Fitness and durability. Volkanovski has a strong core. He has a low center of gravity. You cannot take down Makachev, and when you take him down, you can't submit him. The best jiu-jitsu player
We
in
know
the
that.
UFC,
Say it.
Brian Ortega, could
But
not submit him with a locked in, latched in um, guillotine choke and a triangle. It looks bad. Jair's not going to submit him. The best striker in the UFC couldn't outstrike him, and that's Max Holloway, the best striker in that, not in the UFC, let's say in the 145-pound division.
thank you.
Couldn't
Those.
finish him 3 times, and he was outlanded. What is Jair bringing to the table that Volkanovski has not seen a better version of?
Leg kicks.
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely not even. I mean, leg kicks. Good that you mentioned leg kicks. Volkanovski was 250 pounds when he was playing rugby, and he exerted that amount of pressure while playing rugby on his legs that are thick as tree trunks. Now, it's I've never seen Volkanovski hurt with leg kicks. And more than anything, he puts everything together with his fight IQ. So in every aspect of the fight game, Alexander Volkanovski has seen bigger challenges than Jair Rodriguez. Jair Rodriguez is great. He does have a puncher's chance. He can throw up a crazy kick, a crazy knee, and catch Alex and maybe finish him. But when have you seen Volkanovski about to be finished or close to be finished in the UFC? Never. The
Well,
answer is never. The answer is never. So for me at least, personally, Alexander Volkanovski has cemented himself as maybe in the top 5 of goats in the UFC. This is a very very steep climb in competition for Yair, who's I'm glad he had the belt. I'm glad, like Carlos Condit had the interim belt. No shame in that. He had the belt. So Yair had the belt. It was time to get that belt back to daddy. You know what I mean?
yes, Jared, I do know what you mean, but your words sadden me, Jared, because honestly, I really want,
Man.
I really love a good, I really love a good upset story, a good underdog story, and I'm hoping, with my potato on my hand, that Jair Rodriguez pulls uh out of this world performance, and takes it against Alexander Volkanovski. If I get to the nit and grit and actually try to think or envision how he would do that, I mean, man, I don't fucking know. I mean,
It's
the only way I see him um putting it on Volkanovski is just using the only two weapons that I think he's superior, or he can have the upper hand against Volkanovski with, which is
mm-hmm.
his reach and distance, his management of the distance, Jair's, I'm referring to is excellent, is superb, and is nothing like what Volkanovski may have faced, given that he's a former Taekwondo practitioner fighter, and he definitely sets up and starts his combinations as well as the management of his distance with his legs, constant front kicks, TPs, constant switching legs. He does all kinds of um, leg strikes, lower body strikes that are out there. So I want to believe, Yared, I want to believe that Jair has a plan, that Jair is going to try to keep Volkanovski at bay with his legs and is going to try to outsmart the champ, is going to try to get deep into the fight, keeping the strikes advantage, keeping Volkanovski away, fighting smart, fighting patient like Topuria a couple of weeks ago. And I would really like to see unanimous decision by Jay Rodriguez. Now, if I want to work and have and take whatever we have on hands, objectively, we know and we've seen, no matter what you throw at fucking Alexander Volkanovski, he overcomes. He took the most menacing, allegedly the hair of the most dangerous grappler that has ever existed, Khabib Nurmagomedov. He took Alhamdulillah. He took his protege and father's protege, Makhachev. He went down on the floor with them and showed that the guy didn't have what it took to fucking submit him. So that goes to show, not to mention the perfect moment you mentioned earlier with City, or especially the first and maybe the second fights against an absolute striker like Max Holloway. He's been against everything and anything, and he's overcome. So I mean, I don't see how Jair puts it on him, to be honest. But I want to believe. I want to go in this one. I'm not going with my head. I'm going with my potato. I'm going with my heart. And I think somehow Jair is gonna pull the upset. Jair is gonna fight smart. Jair is gonna use his best weapons, and Jair is gonna surprise the world. He's gonna shake up the world, and he's gonna win on Saturday. And if I fucked it up, so be it. But that's my prediction, and I'm standing by it. That's it, Jared. I don't want to hear no more. I don't want to hear no more because you're gonna convince me. Because I'm 3/4 there convinced that Volkanovski takes it. So I don't want to hear no more. Jair does the miracle, and he wins. That's it.
All right, there you have, folks. This guy says Jair, I sell Volkanovski, and Volkanovski makes it look easy.
Damn. Savage.
So there you have it. UFC 290 is going to be amazing. Of course, we're going to keep uploading content during the week of the minutiae, injuries. Check out the video in the channel talking about the injury rundown for Jair Rodriguez and Volkanovski. Volkanovski suffered a Bennett's fracture on the base of his thumb that needed surgery a couple years ago against Max Holloway. Against the same opponent, Jair suffered, massive injuries to his right foot, which is one of his strongest kicking foot. You check that video out, and we'll put up more content and reels as well. Really helps us when you subscribe to the channel and like the content, so please do that if you will. So like I say always when we end the streams, we love you with all our cojones, and I mean that.